want to hear what people they love. Want to get a shakeleti love. This love when I want to get another one. I go take and do waiting I love. Waiting you love, oh. No be waiting I love, oh. Waiting I love, I go do what we done my heart, oh. Go no be vodka. Mr. Money Changer. But when I know the ways that Mr.
You let a yum 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 yum. My pere, my tonight pese. You let a yum 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 yum. Naya pere, muna kapela, chora kakisa, oyari hele pere, balungna baire.
That dream of studying and working abroad has been made much accessible to everyone, including you. So worry less about how you're going to get there, because we always make it happen. This is Starfinders Ghana Limited. We offer a highly professional guidance and support system, both in your university and visa application process. Starfinders Ghana Limited is a highly trusted agency of the University of the West of Scotland, one of the largest modern universities offering a range of academic, social, and sporting facilities. You can apply for undergraduate, master's and PhD in business and creative industries, education, social sciences, computing, engineering, physical sciences, health, and life sciences. Come through Starfinders, and for your studies, you get yourself a laptop or a £500 gift voucher. Call on +233 598 4888 04. WhatsApp on +44 7404 711 049. Send us an email or visit our website for more information.
Well, it's 2 p.m. Eastern Time in the United States, 6 p.m. in Ghana. So I say good afternoon to our viewers here in the United States, and good evening to our viewers in Ghana. Today, as usual, we are going to do justice to most of the topical issues that have come up in the course of the week in the political space in Ghana. And to enable me do so, let me, without wasting time, introduce my panelists. I have Nii Okai, Assistant Professor of Actuarial Science at Appalachian State University. Dr. Zita Seshi, who is a sociologist based in Canada. And I was supposed to have a third panelist in the person of Dr. Bernard Akalbion. He is unable to join us this afternoon. It's our loss, but without any pun intended, his absence is as a result of an addition to his family. His wife just delivered a baby girl, and so he is unable to join us. Yeah, he's attending to his newborn and his nursing wife, I guess. So we'll say congratulations to Bernard and wish his wife and the newborn all the best. So Nii and Zita, how are you guys doing?
Well, ladies first. Zita, how you doing? Oh, Nee, thank you for being a gentleman. And again, my regards to your wife. I had the opportunity to quickly say hi to Nee's wife, and I'm a fan. She's such a bubbly personality. So yeah, I'm doing quite well. She is a Zetarian. Right now, we are looking forward to launching our logo, and hopefully we start our women's conference. And so I hope the political parties begin to get in touch and find a way of lobbying so I can, begin to speak to the women in that regard. So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping the weather cheers up, but it's very rainy here where I am in Canada, and it seems summer is gonna almost pass me by without me being in the streets looking cute. So that is where I am in terms of how I'm doing.
Okay. Yeah, Nee is a fake feminist.
I'm doing good. And again, congrats to our brother Bernard. That's good news, but it's also comes with a lot of problems. Now the kids will give you a lot of headache, but it's good. Well, but yeah, everything is going well. Trying to get as much as rest as possible. Yeah.
You are muted, host.
Yes. Okay. So today we have two main issues to talk about. We're going to talk about the Hands Off Hotels demonstration that was led by the Honorable Samuel Okujato Ablakwa. And then we would proceed to talk about the unjust treatment of the Ghana para soccer team. I mean, they are popularly referred to as the amputee soccer team. They have been treated in an unjust, and I don't know if it's as a result of they not being, the tendency for us to discriminate against people with certain disabilities. And so we're going to have a conversation about that as well. And up to this point, Baumia seems to be struggling to name a running mate. And there was a poll that apparently was leaked a couple of days ago. And so we would get into that poll and, discuss broadly about the selection of a running mate, some of the names that have come up as contenders. We will analyze sort of their suitability to partner Baumia. Yes, and then these will be the main conversations that we have. If we have more time, we may delve into other issues that have made the news, but we probably didn't consider them as the major enough to make them a core part of our discussion this afternoon. And so, without wasting any more time, let's go right into the Hands of the Hotels demonstration that was led by Okujato this last week. But before we get into the main issues or the revelations that have come to light, even after the demonstration, there's always conversation, and the defense being put up by some of the MPP folks is around this notion that Brian Achampon as a person is different from the entity called, Rock City. And I want to play a video here of an MP attempting to put up such a defense, and then we will have a conversation about it.
This is nothing but sheer hatred for an individual. Yes, I must be blunt on this.
Can you withdraw that?
I can't. I said one is tempted. I can't and I won't. You know why? Mm-hmm. The continuous citing of Brian Achampon, Brian Achampon, Minister for Agric, he sits in cabinet and all that. Let the world know that this particular transaction predates Brian's appointment as a Minister for Agric. This whole transaction did not start with Brian after Brian became Agric Minister. You must check the facts clear. Mm-hmm. So it is not as if he's a cabinet minister, and because of that, he's using his influence to do this. So first of all, people must know that this whole transaction predates Brian's appointment as a minister for agriculture.
Is it the decision by Senate, or you're talking about the decision to divest to his company?
No, when you say divest to his company, that is wrong.
Okay.
Because it's put on divestiture. Bids are solicited from interested companies. So it is not to say that Senate has taken the sole motive decision to diversify the interest of Senate to Brian Champon. No. And again, let me also place on record that Brian Champon is distinct from Rock City.
What makes it so?
It makes it so because Rock City is a limited liability company. He's a lawyer. He knows what I'm talking about. So they are not the same. They are not the same. The company Rock City Limited is a company on its own, has its own directors and can take decisions, be sued, and can sue.
So if you lift the veil, what do you see?
So you have not gotten to a place you want to lift. So you are lifting the veil now. Are you lifting the veil here? You are lifting the veil. He's a shareholder. So what is wrong? Because he's a shareholder, the company cannot do business. There's nothing wrong with that. And we must get that clear. So the moment you put Rock City aside and your emphasis is on Brian Champon, that is what I'm saying now. It is one is believed or tempted to believe that it's share hate and hatred. Other than that, you must look at Rock City as a legal entity, limited by registered by the laws of this country and has rights. And again, the decision to participate in the bid process was long done, and the process has started before Brian became an agric minister. So the linkage is neither here nor there. If Brian Lechampo or Rock City, Brian had not become an agric minister, the process would have still gone on. We don't have a problem with it because all the analysis they are making reference to him being an agric minister. When the thing had actually started before he became an agric minister.
All right, just please, both of you just hold on a bit. I've just been informed that our reporter Zoe is connected to us, and okay. So I can.
A quick point. Brian has been a minister of state in charge of national security. Brian has been a minister of state at the office of the Minister of Interior. Then subsequently became Minister of Agric. So he's been a Minister of State right from the inception of this government.
You got it wrong.
I did not get it
Please,
wrong.
let me tell you something.
I did not.
In the Nana Akufo-Addo's second administration, Brian was not a minister.
Yeah, but when did this?
I'm coming. This is his second beginning.
So what I said,
beginning.
No, you didn't say beginning.
Well,
you didn't say
beginning of the second administration, second term of
the man has been a minister of state, office of the president, in charge of national security.
Randy, these are not
he's been a minister of state at the ministry of interior. So your argument that he became a minister of agric recently,
because your continuous reference to him, please,
the argument is that his portfolio as a minister of state.
Okay, so take notes.
The point I'm making is that. The inception of Nana Akufo-Addo's second term, Brian was not a minister.
Yes.
He wasn't a minister until when he got into this second year. Brian became an agric minister last year.
2023.
2023.
Okay.
So check when this whole transaction started.
2018.
2018.
Yes.
2018, this whole thing started. Yes. Rock City put in a bid. It's not the only company that went into it. But when you look at these things we are talking about.
No, let's clarify. 2018, was he a minister of state or not?
He was a deputy minister.
No. He was a minister
of state.
He was a minister of national security. It's more weightier than
Please. Okay. So the point is that
I want to hear you.
Randy Brian is distinct from Rock City.
Okay.
And there's no law in this country that bars this company for going into a tender or a bid process. And was there a competitive tendering that went on or otherwise? Look, NDC, the 1993.
All right, guys. So, this is an MP. MPs are elected to stand guard over the interests of the state. And why is this an issue? The issue here is the fact that Brian is in conflict of interest. He is a key member of the ruling government, and so the appearance of his company acquiring these state assets, sort of raises the issue of conflict of interest. That's the main issue here. But the argument being put up by this MP is that Brian is an entirely different entity from his company, right? So there's that idea of the corporate personhood. Legally, a corporation can exist as though it was a person, which is separate from the person who owns it. So, for instance, when if you are the sole owner of a company, that company can file for bankruptcy while your personal finances are intact. So that's the argument being put up here. Should we defer to legal arguments when it comes to issues that concern our system of governance? Does it always have to be the issue of whether it's legal as it is defined in the laws, or we have to hold different standards when it comes to issues of governance? Zita, I want you to take it away from here.
I mean, and he was not the only one who said that. I also watched in my preparation for the show. I also watched, I think his name is Andrew Ejapa Mercer. He's an MP for Sekondi and Minister for Tourism. Make the same argument, and it's unfortunate that when it comes to this issue of state capture, people are not trying to be objective in their analysis. They cite that he is separate from his entity, but the reason why he could get information is because of his unique position. The reason why he could hear of the fact that 60% of the stakes in Senate are going to be on sale is because of his unique position as a member of parliament and as a minister of state. And so when do we begin to say, oh, you are drawing the curtains, you're drawing the line and all that? It is by virtue of his position that he got privy to this information. And so from the beginning, we are free to conflate the two, and he will benefit. And there's a process you have to go through as a minister of state when you want to engage in any activity of profitability involving state assets. Has he done that? You see, we are in a country where it's like people will support corruption by just using supposedly terminologies like limited liability and all that. That only comes in when you are being sued. Those business arrangements happen when we are talking about in terms of damage. You do a damage, they're coming after you, then your business is separate, your personal assets are separate. In this case, this minister got that information based on what his unique position within the government. That is how he got previewed. His hotels are making a loss. Rock City hotels are now making profit. They claim he submitted the best financial and hotel management proposal. We want to see it, and we are yet to see the other tenders. And so
we'll come to the specifics of sort of the feasibility of he be winning those bids, but I want us to stick to this whole argument and the legal gymnastics that they're attempting to deploy here.
Yeah, and so for me, by and large, all I'm saying is that they claim, this legal aspect. However, what made him privy to the information and even made him a bidder in the first place is because of his unique position. So if we want to employ the legal lens here, let us employ it holistically. Has he applied to, the Speaker of Parliament to go through the process as somebody who is a member of Parliament and then a minister who is engaging in a venture of profitability involving state assets? Has he done that? And how did he get information to that? You cannot pick and choose as and when we should separate people from what their businesses. In this particular case, the two is intertwined. And the reason why he got privy to that information is because of his unique position as a minister of state and as a member of parliament.
All right. Okay, yeah. So, I want you to respond to the same issue, because this issue of, the separation of the individual from the corporation, is it a legal fiction, or in practice, when we are dealing with issues of governance, is it something that we should evoke, or there should be broader principles that guide us in the manner in which we conduct our governance system, and not always to defer or try to exploit what exists in print, in black and white, as the law.
Sometimes you listen to these guys and you're like, wow, these are the people we've actually elected. And you listen to them, it's like, do we always have to be political about certain things, right? If they want to go into law, let's go into law. In law, there's something called conflict of interest. Why don't we allow people with dual citizenship to be presidents in Ghana? It's because of conflict of interest. And if you look at the case, there's a huge conflict of interest written all over it. So if you have, and this is somebody we are supposed to respect, a whole MP sitting on a national television making such bogus arguments, and sometimes you wonder, and you are not surprised why we are where we are, because we cannot be truthful as a people. I don't care which political party is in power. If our politicians do not want to even speak the truth, then we will be where we are, and that is why we are where we are. Talking about conflict of interest, two main issues with this thing, with this whole hotel thing. First is that you are getting information from whoever, all the policy and the decision makers, and we have concrete evidence of this conflict of interest, or this passing of information from these people. If you look at last time, we saw it here. Two of the hotels, the guy, Brian Champon's company, bid the same the lower limit, the same for two of the hotels, Labadi and Ridge Royal. You have to be a magician, or you have to be really, really good in your predictive analytics to know the exact lower value they are looking for, and you giving the same thing for two out of four. You got 2 out of 4 right. That is some serious level of prediction, and you cannot tell me that guy did not get any information. And the second thing is about using your power to kind of defraud the state, because here is they've given us whatever the people that advise it on the price ranges. The lower value was around 80 million and the higher value was around 120, but you are giving a bid of 61 million dollars. That's almost 20 million dollars below that. So what we are saying is, because of your influence, because of your political power, you are trying to get this property, which again is for Ghanaian pensioners, Ghanaian workers. You are trying to get this thing at a cheap and make profit for yourself. So you are redirecting the profit that's supposed to go for Ghanaian workers, pay for their healthcare and things in the future. You're trying to direct the profit to yourself. And that's the whole issue here. So if this guy, this MP, do not get the concept of the conflict of interest and why it's affecting the common Ghanaian, then this guy is not supposed to be where he is.
I agree.
I'm sorry.
Yes. But I don't know, who is the head of SNIT?
Well, we heard that they've made changes, and it's a political power, right? And they put a guy who is connected to the big MPP guys, which is fine. By the end of the day, are the decisions they are making, is it the right thing? And it looks like it's not.
Yeah, I mean, over the years, I think I have given Ghanaian politicians so much credit. I've put some of them on a pedestal which they don't belong, and sort of assigning a certain level of understanding of democracy to them, which they don't have. To be quite honest with you, I've come to the belief that most Ghanaian politicians don't understand democracy, its founding, its core principles. They kind of have an idea of it, but they don't fully understand it. You understand? So, in fact, I want to believe that this guy sitting on TV.
You're forgetting that democracy is Kebi Mami Kebi in Ghana. Speak, let me speak.
That's exactly. It's been oversimplified, right? To that extent. But I mean, you look at our educational system. In what period in our education do we really thoroughly teach democracy? Maybe the people that take government in high school probably would get a sense of it, but I even don't think that they go into the details and the founding principles of the concept of democracy, why it was founded to begin with. Because anybody who has an understanding of why democracy was founded is not going to sit on TV, even if they were doing politics, to defend something like this using the type of defense that he was using. They always defer to the law. Law is only one instrument of democracy. Democracy is a broader principle, and law is an instrument to achieve some of those principles. So you can't reduce the entire thing simply to the issue of whether the law allows it or not. And that's what he's attempting to do here. The idea of the corporate personhood and the individual as a person was not for the purpose of this. It wasn't so that a politician will pose that I'm different from my company. No, it's for liability purposes, especially with respect to capital laws and issues like that. It is not for you to pose that I'm different from my corporation. And so judge that, oh, Brian Acheampong, the minister, is sitting here, Rock City is here. Meanwhile, the same person is 100% shareholder. He's not just some minority shareholder sitting somewhere who doesn't really have a say. Every single profit that comes to that hotel is going directly to him. He doesn't share it with anybody. So, and then we'll pretend and bury our heads in the proverbial sand and think that we are deceiving somebody. Who are you deceiving? Yeah, I mean, the lack of insincerity is just upsetting, to be honest with you. Instead of us to analyze it and look, even in the interest of Brian Acheampong himself, the appearance is not good. It's not a good look for you. So why don't you withdraw from it? You're a politician. I mean, they're so brazen to some level that I don't even understand.
But even Mark, the truth is, if you want to use your position to acquire this, pay the minimum that was advised. Pay it, and I will not have any qualms about this. Okay, you use your position, but you paid your fair bit. But you want to use your position again, undercut the nation, and that is also not good, because at the end of the day, it's the Ghanaian pensioner.
But the truth of the matter is, the guy came with an exploitative mindset. So even if they give it to him for free, he's going to take it. He didn't come with the intention that he was going to help the situation. So he's exploiting otherwise he wouldn't even bid for it to begin with. So, what you are telling him to do is basically, shooting himself in the foot.
How can he not come in? The thing has been handed to him on a silver platter, like we're saying.
Inheritance. Nobody, even if you were inheriting a property, you're not even going to get such a deal.
Oh no. Yeah. My father passed away, and we are trying to do some, of course, most African fathers do not have a will, and my brothers and I are trying to get things in order. And the amount we are supposed to pay to the government of Ghana for, it's called, I've forgotten the name, to become administrators of the estate, you have to pay, like when you receive a gift in terms of, inheritance, you have to pay an amount based on the value of the properties to the state. Yeah. I wish I could get away with that, but it's in the thousands of cities. And so again, yeah, I wanted to really briefly touch on what you said, Mark, about democracy. You see, when we talk of democracy in Ghana, what we hear is the smooth transition of power, election, and ability of people to speak their mind. That is what the average Ghanaian understands about democracy. Oh, Ghana, and even in international discourse, when they're, Ghana has been a country where they've relatively transitioned power from one government to the other peacefully. They have relatively a peaceful level of elections, and people have the ability to speak their minds on national issues. That is how we have denigrated and reduced democracy to. It doesn't come to when it comes to the conduct of people in state and higher positions in our political system. It doesn't come to the law. And it's not just Brian Acheampong. We saw it in the Cecilia Dapa case. In which same country will a former minister hold hard, solid cash in $1 million and also other foreign currencies and thousands of those currencies laying in her house, and we say we do not have probable grounds because her source of income, where she got that money, cannot be linked to any form of what money laundering activities. So in Ghana, when you go to Ghana now and you get a journalist to ask, "Yeka democracy." When we say democracy, how do you understand? Oh, where they kebi mami kebi. And then when you go to the educated folks, they will say, "Oh, Ghana." Just we hear just as we hear in the international reportage, "Oh, Ghana has an advanced democracy." What does that mean? Smooth transition of power, and we've not had any coup d'etat or any military intervention. So long as we can vote and people leave office peacefully, Ghana has what? An advanced or what a mature democracy in Africa. It is a shame that is what we have reduced democracy to. But 100% agree with you. I think that and as somebody who is passionate about education, I think you make such an excellent submission. Democracy should become like a core subject, like we're teaching English and math and all that, so people can understand this concept. Because like I always say, we are not enraged enough. I am sitting on social media and I don't see the enragement. And I know we're going to talk about the demonstration later, but for interestingly, I did not see anything on social media. I didn't see the young people. It's just more of the older generation and people who are following what is happening that went out to protest. And I hope that the Ghanaian youth are really paying attention.
Yeah, in fact, I would really encourage those MPs who keep on disgracing themselves on national TV, pulling that, corporate personhood defense. They should stop disgracing themselves. They are making a fool of themselves by using that kind of defense. Look, if you are elected as a member of parliament, there's the jury is still out as to whether members of parliament are supposed to be trustees or delegates, in the sense that are they supposed to essentially have they been given the authority to use their judgment in making decision in the legislature, or whether they are delegates in the sense that they are directly supposed to represent the views of their constituents in parliament. I mean, there's a position that suggests that it is both. So let's assume that it's both. You're a trustee as well as a delegate. That is another layer of accountability in the practice of democracy. So you can't go and sit on TV and defer everything to law, when in fact you are expected to be one of the protective layers, one of the guardrails that makes this system work. And then you go and then pull yourself out and say, no, the law says so. No. The expectation is that you would understand the principle of democracy, broadly speaking, and in the practice of your duties, you would deploy it. So you can't always defer to the law. You are supposed to be part of the process that makes democracy works. But clearly, most of these guys don't understand. And Zita, as you said, we need to strictly, if we have chosen that democracy is our path and that's where we want to go, it has to be a core part of our curriculum. Teach it from its very beginning to its very end. Most people do not understand how democracy came to be, the purpose for which it started wherever it started, and others adapted it, and we also adapted it. I don't even think that our so-called leaders have this understanding of the issue. So let's continue with this matter and go to the aftermath of the demonstration. There's a video of Okujato in the studio with the MP that you just mentioned, and they're having a conversation about certain things that emerged after the demonstration, and then we'll pick those issues as well and talk about them. Okay.
Has sold Akosombo Hotel to him. So we are grateful that he has offered that information. So, Doc, I can this morning, exclusively on your show, produce the filings at GRA. I want the Honorable Brad Champon to know that when I say I've intercepted something, I've truly intercepted. And he should have been following me by now, that I don't talk about things that I don't have. When I say I've intercepted, I've intercepted. So I've been generous to make copies for the Honorable Ijapa Mesa, so you know that I am not... Is it for onward transmission? Oh, it's for the show, so that Doc, you can also have yours. Yes. So, what is this? I hold in my hands the filing of Rock City at GRA. So, When I said that I have the filings, I have them. And here they are, giving you copies. Now, if you come with me to, let's analyze the documents. I'll do that quickly. I know we don't have much time. Come to 2021, and I've marked them so that it will be easy. Let's start from 2021.
Hold on.
Yeah.
You see, some of these things.
He challenged me.
Oh, wait. I've opened the document.
Yeah.
You make statements that put people's reputation in jeopardy, and you fall in trouble. Page, assuming that this was even authentic, I don't have a problem at all. This can never be accounts, annual returns. Yeah, because that's the only time that you make a determination about the profitability or otherwise of a company. You file your annual returns with your audited accounts at GRA and, of course, Registered General's Department. You are holding withholding tax credit forms for January, withholding tax credit form for February, withholding tax for, according to him, 2020.
Take your time and study the document.
And these are tax filings.
Of course,
2024
has not ended.
No. So let me proceed. Let me proceed.
Anyway, if the Honorable Minister for Agric is watching, I'll bring him a copy so he can take the requisite action on this.
Absolutely. That's why I brought you a copy
for some time.
Can I? You have your turn. You know the format of the program. You have your turn to speak.
Right.
So,
Randy.
So don't shift the goalpost. The Honorable Minister for Food and Agriculture says that I have not intercepted anything. I don't have anything from GRA. I don't have the filings. Here are the filings. The taxpayer ledgers of Rock City Hotel, the tin is there, the corporate income tax declarations and all the other payee and the withholding tax and all of that. The full documents from 2021 to 2024.
We're still in 2024.
Yes, we're still
so
2024.
First quarter 2024.
Yes. And so in 2021, if you come to 2021, on the 12th of March 2021, first quarter, Rock City.
Brotherly advice.
Rock City filed returns.
Just give us
please. I have been there.
Yes.
I've been there.
I'm giving you a brotherly advice.
You can keep your advice. Don't worry.
Give us like a summary.
Yes,
2021, what is the point you're making?
Yes. So 2021, 12 March 2021, they posted returns that they said that year they will make losses. So when we talk about the loss making Rock City, 2021.
I think it's the last.
So 12 March 2021. Then 2 years later, they return on the 9th of March 2023 and do a debit adjustment that they had 2 withholding taxes, which came up to 20,782. And that's all you have for 2021. So they themselves told the GRA on the 12th of March that year they will make losses. Then let's come to 2022, when we say that if you compare the books of Rock City with Labadi Beach
But
Hotel,
where did they say they will make losses on this document that you are informing the public about?
Have you seen
this
2021,
12 March? Says, wait.
Yes.
Process returns for 2021.
Yes.
Zero.
Yes. Zero.
And that's informing GRA that they will make losses.
Yes, that there will be no profits. Yes, for the year. You can go and consult an accountant. We have done that. Our accountants have looked at these documents, and that is it. That is the fact. Yes. You said I didn't have anything, isn't it? Yeah, and you did. Then let's come to 2022. 2022 is very, very interesting. Again, in 2022, as for 2022, there were no filings at all, if you notice. No filings at all. Then I break this news. I go to Shraj on the 17th of May. I broke the news here on this show. The following week, they rushed to the GRA. So you see here, 23rd May 2024, that we now want to come and make do our tax obligations for 2022 for 2 years ago. So you have it here, 23rd May.
2022, by the rules, you have a date to file.
Yes, they should have filed by June of 2023. Okay. They didn't.
So if they filed for 2022 on the 23rd May of 2024,
by the rules, they have to pay a penalty.
I understand.
Yes.
Well, what I want to find out is how then did they have a tax clearance in the...
Brilliant question. Yes. I was coming there.
Okay, right. Yes.
Brilliant.
Okay.
So it means that when they put in the bid, they clearly didn't have a tax clearance certificate.
Maybe they had.
Yes.
But maybe they had. But the GRA must explain.
They must explain how. Brilliant question, Doc. So you see here that after my expose, They go to GRA 23rd May 2024 and say, oh, we will post losses. We made losses for 2022. Then they went back again the same day and said that, no, we are changing that fact. We believe that if you process the profit we made, we can pay a tax liability of 395,000 Ghana cedis. Bizarre. And so on that 23rd May, they are then asked by GRA to pay a penalty of 4,390 Ghana cedis. Very, very bizarre. Okay. The question that follows is, so according to the SNIT statement that was put out on the 19th of May, a copy of which I have here, if you look at the timelines, they said they started this process in 2018, got a transaction advisor in 2018. Then they started the bid for the hotel purchase, the tender for the sale of the hotels in 2022. So you hadn't filed your taxes for 2 years. How did they get a tax clearance certificate to participate in the bid?
When you get to, sorry, have you moved to 2023?
I'm coming. I'll be coming there.
Because I have a question to ask.
On 2023.
Yes.
So
are you done with 2022?
Yeah. So 2022. Okay. It was after my expose that they hurriedly rushed to GRA, and they went there twice. First, they said, "Oh, we made losses in 2022." Then they went back and said, "No, the way the trajectory, the way this MP is going, we made some profit." So they amended the records, and they were fined. This is the penalty that they paid. 4,390. So significant developments.
Okay, Ni, was it not last week that we were sort of contemplating that there might be some books cooking going on with respect to this company?
Oh, yes. And are we surprised? And to be frank, I believe everything Okujato is saying. Like the fact that when he made the expose, they were like, oh, this guy is trying to, reveal too much. So let's go to GRA. And of course, they have their people. So the GRA allowed them to file their taxes. And they say, they had losses. Oh, no, the guy is saying too much. Let's go and declare profit. And I giving the Ghanaian for making this company pay almost 400,000 cedis in taxes. Without his expose, they wouldn't do that. So at first, I just want to thank you. But of course, we know these people. They are politically connected, so they are trying to use everything to beat the system. And that is the story, right? Making sure they don't pay their fair share, but also take a lot from the coffers. And that's the story of this, of our politicians. But these MPP people are doing it too much. They are taking it to the next level.
But how about the fine? How much were they fined?
Oh, they said 4,000. 4,000.
So, and what was the tax liability? Does that mean that when they filed, did they file that they had a loss, or they were?
Yeah. So initially they said they had a loss, right? Then they went back. They said we had almost a profit of around 300,000, right? Plus, so then with that, since you've not filed for like more than a year, you have to pay the penalty, and the penalty is 4,000.
Yeah, but Zita, how is it that a company that hasn't filed its taxes is in the running to acquire some of the most prized, elegant hotels in the country? I mean, you haven't met your tax obligation for 2 years, yet you have the confidence to actually be public about wanting to acquire state assets.
And that is why, Mark, and that is why we are saying, and that is why you said that these ministers of states that are defending Brian Champon should be ashamed of themselves, especially the second MP called what is his name, Andrew Ejapa. And that is why I said we at this point, I hope we want to know the other contenders, because by the time we realize, they'll tell you that there were no other bidders. It was just only Rock City that bid, because again, like Nihaf said, he had insider information. You can't predict the lowest point for, two of the hotels if you didn't get insider information. And so, like we are all saying, in Ghana, are the laws working? You can't go through a year without filing taxes and sit easy, even at the individual level.
Yeah.
in this part of the world. Yeah. You can't do that. You cannot file your taxes and pretend nothing is happening. You're going to get the revenue agency calling you. They will send a letter to your house. what is going on, and much more an organization for 2 years. And when a BlackRock brought it up, they went to quickly try to pay it, and they got 4,000. In fact, I think even the 4,000 is another issue of corruption.
Yeah.
I would think that the lady who owns a store selling provisions in Makola or somewhere will pay $4,000.
No, they said that the 4,000 is for the penalty. So the taxes
but
was
even that,
300.
so, I mean,
that's
you don't file your taxes for 2 years and the penalty is 4,000 Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
What is the deterrence? Because I mean, I will simply not file and get away. For instance, look, the idea of not filing your tax means that you could potentially go without paying tax. So if the risk of not filing is to potentially pay a penalty of 4,000 Ghana cedis instead of paying taxes, which risk would you rather take? Yeah, Zita, you're muted.
Yeah, 4,000, and don't even go there. 4,000 is not enough for what? Somebody who apparently owns a chain of hotels. Oh, come on. A penalty should be around 100,000 Ghana. Then we know the law is serious. 4,000 is for those who are selling provisions in a store and they have not registered. Even a small entity that is not raking in
100,000 Ghana. How much is that in dollars? Is that about
$10,000?
Yeah, even that, I think that is still small for a corporation like that. Yeah, because I mean, think about how much taxes if you were making profit as a hotel of the magnitude that he claims he is, right? And you don't file your taxes, how much tax are you going to get away with? The penalty should be such that if you forfeit paying tax, it will be made up for by the penalty that you pay. So that it's a deterrence from anybody who has any ideas of not filing taxes as a way of evading tax.
Yeah, no, I agree.
If it wasn't for and especially if it wasn't for what is going on right now, they probably would have gone without paying this and it would have just,
I mean, I agree. I set it penalty at 100,000 to at least we'll go like, okay, it's penalty. After you pay the penalty, later you come and file for your tax and pay what is due. But 4,000, listen, some of us are not rich, but we can quickly cough up 4,000 in just like that. Today, if anything should happen, they say, oh, they need 4,000 more. We can all do that. And a whole business owning chains of hotels, this is another level of corruption, and I hope Ghanaians are paying attention. And I think this whole GRA issue, I think we need to look at it deeper. Right now, we need to be asking GRA to release. We need to target all these big organizations and people who we want to. Every organization, please share your tax information, not details, but at least an indication that you filed for your tax with the GRA. Because at this stage, I'm beginning to feel that people who are connected to government, who run businesses, big corporations, are evading tax payment. At this point, I'm beginning to feel that, and that is a lot of revenue going down the drain. Ghana is on the edge. People can't afford we are struggling, and every bit, but we can tax Momo. You see, this full of insensitivity and wickedness in the government that is really sad, that we can tax the ordinary person for transaction, but members of parliament and ministers of state owning chains of hotels will go away for 2 years, get away 2 years without paying taxes, and the penalty is 4,900 something. Come on, this is preposterous. And to land my plane, I'm not sure if we'll be given the opportunity to touch on this issue again, but Ablakwa in their demonstration said something that is important, and I think there's something called the Private Members Bill, and that the parliament should pass it. And passing that private members bill implies that anybody who holds a political office or politically exposed persons will be banned from participating or buying any form of state assets. And I hope the parliament pass but again, we know that, like we always say, our laws exist in a vacuum. They have the law, but it is the enforcement that is the problem. But I hope this private members bill is passed so that we know that henceforth it is banned that if you are a politician or you are a politically exposed person, it means you have any connection to any politician, you are banned from buying any form of state assets.
Yeah, and the truth of the matter is there shouldn't have actually been a law because this should have been a foregone conclusion. So now it almost feels like every obscenity has to be spelled out in law, when in fact, the expectation is that with the practice of democracy, there are certain things that are just not done based on the core principle of the system of government that we are running. But Ghana, it almost seems like then if you want to buy anything, then you have to put it explicitly in black and white, which is unfortunate. But this should have been a foregone conclusion, a no for any politician, but somehow we are now having to sponsor a bill in parliament that would explicitly make it illegal, which is, in my opinion, absolutely unnecessary. And then we can't keep going in this direction, which means every little thing that has to be put in law, which is, anyway. But so, I mean, let's move on, and I'm sure we may still come back to this issue.
I've not had his take on. Nee haven't had his take on. Nee, have you had your take on the the whole issue?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Nee was I think I came to Nee on that, but yeah, but I'm sure we'll still come back to this issue, right? Because the thing is, look, they are still the whole transaction is still ongoing, so it's not like it has been seized or anything like that. It's still proceeding as planned. So potentially, Brian Achampong could acquire these hotels even in the midst of all this, protests that is going on. So that's why I believe that we'll still come back to this. We'll still have this conversation again in the course of this period. So let's move to the Ghana para soccer team that went to Egypt and brought home glory by winning the AFCON there. Now, countryman Songo always says that when have you seen a Ghana win a tournament and then we are holding the cup and jubilating and say, yeah. He say, and then he questions his viewers and say, all of you, since we were born, when have you seen Ghana raise a cup? And it's sometimes for comic relief, but that is the truth. The last time Ghana won any trophy was in 1982, the AFCON. And ever since, we have never really won anything, yet we spend loads of money on the national team and other teams. But
I actually disagree. The paraplegic, or I don't like the word amputee.
It is a para team. The short form
paraplegic is better. Like just calling people amputee, I think that is why we are moving in North America when it comes to academic language. We are moving from disabled people to persons with disability, right? It's the language in itself, amputee team. I don't like it. Once we call them paraplegic, it's a good enough for me. But no, Mark, the reason why I interjected is that this is their second time winning. So they were the defending champions. 2 years ago they won the cup, and then they're winning it again. So we won something. I just wanted to say that.
That's what I was arriving at. That they are the only ones that have brought glory in terms of winning a trophy, and they won it back to back, right? Now the issue here is, in fact, I forgot to upload the video of the minister, but I have subsequent video of the reaction of the coach and the captain, essentially explaining what transpired prior to that dressing down that the minister gave them at the ministry. Now, I mean, I don't know our viewers are aware of what happened, but the minister called them after they had visited the former president Mahama, and former President Mahama gave them $10,000. And I think once the ministry got wind of that, they took offense and then held a press conference. I don't know if it was a press conference or it was a meeting with the team, and the minister gave them a dressing down, telling them that their first point of call should be the ministry rather than going or essentially using the name of the team, going around and collecting donations. That in itself is disparaging the way he described the whole situation. And the manner in which he spoke to them was condescending, contemptuous, and that shouldn't be the way you should even talk to your children, not to talk about grown-ups that have gone outside of this country and brought glory to the country. And in fact, I have had reason to question who that minister is. We don't want to go into personality issues here, but the manner in which he spoke to the team was so denigrated. And in fact, he even went as far as saying that the monies that they had gone around taking, they would have to account for it, and that the ministry was going to take account of that money, and then they would add something on top of it, and that would be their bonuses or their rewards that the ministry would have given them for going and representing Ghana in the tournament. That is, you cannot be more condescending than that. We have seen national teams win stuff. Individuals have donated monies to them. Nobody has asked them to account that to the sports ministry. But this guy gathered them in front of him and spoke to them like his children. And the question then comes up that, is that disrespect because of the condition of these players? Or the sports minister would have had the nerve to even talk to the under-17 team like that? So, Zita, before we go to the video of the team members, the coach and the team members explaining the scenarios leading up to that, I want your initial thoughts on this whole thing.
You've said it all. I think it's the treating them with contempt, and again, it's how we treat persons with disabilities in Ghana. I think the culture of, not valuing persons with disabilities play clearly out here. That was despicable. It is unacceptable. I watched the press conference, his tone, his demeanor. Even one of I think somebody was sitting close to him who was a member, was trying to tell him, oh, don't go there. He's like, I have to say this in front of the press so they know. It's very disappointing. And what was their winning bonus for last year? It was $2,000. Come on. Are we going to compare what the Black Stars don't win anything and they go overboard? And what is their bonuses? This treating, persons with disabilities who are part of our national team, our para-national team, is despicable, it's unacceptable, and it is a shame. But again, it speaks to the broader issue of how our culture treats persons with disabilities, Mark. Even in Ghana, if you're a person with disability, it's like you are not a human being. The systems are not there. If I never left Ghana, I would not know about, accessibilities when it comes to buildings and cars. I wouldn't know that. Even when we ride the bus regularly as students, we'll see that when persons are coming with disabilities and they have any form of walking aid, there's a slide for them to get into the bus. It's like the systems are there. And here in North America, they are continuously finding ways to ensure that they are accommodating, persons with disability into the broader society. But what do we see in Ghana? We don't see anything. And this is what is playing at the national team level, and the condescending and disrespectful tone of this particular, Minister of Youth and Sports. It is our culture of not respecting, of not valuing persons with disability that have played down. And I hope I can have the opportunity to react again, because can you imagine these people when they were met at the hotel? They were given a minivan.
We'll come there. Let me go to Nee's initial thoughts, and then I'll play the video afterwards, and then we'll address some of the specifics as well.
No, everything Zita and Mark, everything guys said is right. It's just that it's like it's the discrimination all over again. We don't respect, our people with disabilities. We don't try to make sure these are people, who we have to kind of try to lift up, and we are instead tearing them down again. These guys bought their jerseys from Cantamanto. Just say you are going to use to play they said they bought it from. They didn't get jerseys from the sport authority. They bought their jerseys. They didn't get per diems. When they went, their transportation, how they get to training, nobody cared. It's only when they are going to how do you call it, match day, and then the organizers will bring them buses to go to match day. Like these guys went through all that, they still won the thing, and they said that they asked you for a meeting, they didn't get a response, and this Mahama gave them the meeting. So all I see here is the political part. Is that you went to see an opposition guy, and then we are angry with you. That's all. That's all this is. And it's like, I don't know whether this minister got his marching orders to go and show them something. And
But
I feel
look,
that
if I was in that position, I would have rather, called the team, apologized profusely for not giving them audience, and rather they going somewhere else to get recognition, right? I would have apologized profusely.
But Mark, with politics, it looks like common sense don't make it's not common. See with the previous topic we discussed, a OMP, big man like you, sitting down and say because of LLC, there's no problem with the SNIT issue. It's like because of politics, hey, everybody's, as you say, they put their head in the proverbial sand, right? We don't see anything. We're all blind. And we can all say all these nonsensical things. But the truth is, they didn't support the guys. They went through all these problems, brought the cap back, and because they saw the Mahama, they have to show their power.
Mahama gave $10,000. So
yes.
You should have outdone him by giving the team maybe 10 times of what he gave.
Yes.
That way, everybody will forget of what Mahama gave. But rather, you call them and tell them they have to account for that money, and then whatever you guys can put on top of that, you will then give it to them as their reward.
And for me, I'm really thankful to Mahama for doing what he did, because I don't know whether he's doing politics or whether he was genuine with it, but he's brought attention to this.
No, but if you're a person of empathy, I mean,
look,
you and I will do it. Even
I don't care his motive or whatever. If it was a campaign move, I don't care. What I appreciate is he actually brought views and eyeballs to this issue. I wouldn't have known if it wasn't for that, right? We wouldn't have known. So again, knowing the Mahama I know now over the years, I think he actually did it because he thought that was what he had to do. But even if the MPP thinks he's doing politics, I like that he used that for politics, because we need to support our people who have disability. So
yeah. I mean, this conduct speaks to the very character of Mahama, and I'm sure even people who don't like him would admit that what he did was sincere, and it is basically an expression of who he is as a person. But let's dig into the issues more. I have a video. I mean, it's sort of a mix of audios of the captain and the coach of the team at various points talking to different media houses and trying to explain what actually transpired.
Stephen Obing or the Sema Babe Tuja or Chim said this, the coach of the Ghana Police national team, Stephen Obing or the Sema Babe Tuja or Paja said there's a whole lot of things that's gone on. And I believe he says here and in Sema Aircourse on Ghana, and certain people want to play politics with the equity some of the Tuja. When we come back, we have more and more of information and even more videos suggesting say in Sema Aircourse is more than what meets the eye.
Buying a ticket and paying for a participation fee alone.
Alone? What do you mean by alone? You mean
that was what the sponsorship the minister was talking about.
They bought tickets and then paid for participation fee.
That was all.
No hotel.
My brother.
Yeah.
No justice. Don't go far. You know, in our sports, when you pay the participation.
No. Are you saying that the ministry didn't provide for your JCs too?
No, we bought our jerseys from Cantonment, my brother.
Wow, you got your jerseys from Cantonment too?
Exactly.
So what about hotel, food, accommodation?
Hotel is being taken care by the local organization committee.
Okay. Yeah. But you are saying on record that the ministry didn't even think it very wise to get you jerseys for the tournament.
My brother, we did not even have camping days. Our budget, we never.
Mo buy, you know, mo command sports minister. When the sports ministry say, ma kwa di trophy naba. Na mpese mo shia no. Me hu salute no because you my yache. Response be na mo nyaaye. Every ministry.
Senior ye bo Mr. Samson Dean on edi anim. Anu na court man order say undi ne onhwe say amputi dwuma bia be koso ntino. Ye letter bi e cho no ye cho in the name of MPC the commander no so acho there are 2 MPC letter so they are see letter ya kan ampa ye cho bibisa say in the content of the letter no we stated that on the 3rd na abedu 29th ye last game 28 29th na bia abedu 30th until last batch abedu 31st till na abedu we na say on the 3rd we want to present the trophy in Osha 3 days first May holiday 3rd May
1st May there.
Yes.
Okay.
What I say? Internet holiday nti ye pese ye de be chom 3rd no na omo boy en so no ye tumi de ayeden akwakọ chom. Ye nya respond.
Ministry now respond.
Ye nya respond.
One respond bi ama.
Because respond by anka ye pani a ye ko bi a ye bona me Mr. Samson din be che say oh ministry say mo be da say ni da say. But hwade ye buy na your hotel. And ye buy so obi am be shine say na o kan no. And I pay bus. Yeah, what federal was supposed to join us, but when to me, Amba.
This is some team in Yampany for. And first minister in Yamo.
Me person me can almost my mom, maybe more is that, but the etoyeno, and I'm person me chim na Ghana for him.
Okay.
You buy National Supporters Union a bit share, and I'm in Kahon. Inti, here and I say, Captain, what happened? Because many players them in Formun Diago. No, so be I'm sharing you, yet walk out train bus. Inti, I feel a public of a trotro. About be fine. Me fair welfare officer and I'm say welfare quickly no hotel na you could die before you call no. Make your arrangements na form call cause say you never be there ba be shame. You be shame me we take the necessary step and no call. In Saturday from 29th omo da ho at 30th next badge so buy e count 31st. All these bills were accumulated you buy say fa kwan e be tua. And on buy so omo didi anopa omo didi awiom dey. Yen so ane aka ho no. Need the anopa, the day we the day anyway. In the same way, nan akoso, but yampaba into a virtual letter say this is protocol and we believe and respect authorities. Into Mr. Samson, ye to no ye letter. Respond number 1 week better before I call so for admin chedu ahon. 1 week about better so. And professionals so time 1 week about better so. And professionals so time as so. Omo no mo twa mo ticket buy. And na e say e bi so I ready so omo beko. Intino, the say no, ye yen dispatching from hotel because of a canny idea ebegu on. Ye yen dispatching from hotel because of a canny idea ebegu on. And yet to me to an amount call or so far don't chedia or sign audience out of Nisika or sign audience 200,000. It been a debate as a hotel bills near the end.
I don't check grade and shut down to Namoko, former president, the O2 fan Kama NDC, John Dramani Mama. I want to go far away in Nabao.
The minister was not specific. I see the chinchina. It's not to our benefit. It is to the benefit of the team. And me and now whatever comes out of it, it makes sure said because of funding for ministry or buying. The be a team ye. Fund a buy simian a team no because a Canada one a ministry my fund a 20. Sikaba you talk to the players, we have bills to pay. Yet be near their call. Okay. And I'm most namkoye jumano. Per diem and buy. Bonus and buy from 2020. Per diem on buy. Per diem 1 CD. There's no per diem. Until out of what we receive from the sponsorship, and say on our own capacity, you better Munjiwe. You bought His Excellency Abaso, ambassador for Ghana in Cairo. On a baho, every my $1,000. Ne cha could be $39. And a place they say, no, we want $50. And a management agitum and a chamom. Fair because say no must be motivated me. Yet the same hotel. Yawohono, Angola, any Algeria Cushiano. That is quarter final. Catch Algeria. This is $800. Kosha Angola na beje. No winning bonus for that match. Yes, $800 per player. And
my minister, last question. Minister Chima no. Ministry no musika.
Obia mamuhe. Ah, do kan na wansa mamuska.
This is a disgrace of the highest order. Yeah, Zita, you can come in here and
the dehumanization of it all. This is so dehumanizing, and it is unacceptable. They've been through a lot. They were given a minivan. Can you imagine being told that they should sit on each other's lap?
somebody went and hired a minivan, one of them. It's not even, I mean, the lack of recognition and disrespect is beyond just imagination.
What does it cost to give them a spacious bus? What does it cost? Why is it that the ministry's entourage, even if you're a minister of youth and sports and you're busy, these people have people for all activities with the exception of recognizing and honoring our own? If it was World Cup is coming to North America, Canada, US, Mexico, they're already lining up. They will come and they'll run away. They'll not even go back to Ghana. If it is that one, they will all pile themselves. If it is Black Stars, irrelevant people will pile themselves and they'll be at the airport. But these people have gone, they are defending champions. They've gone to defend the cup, won it again, bring it back home. And even a 2-man or 3-man entourage is not met with them at the airport. The minibus given to them is so small. These people are persons with disability. Now they have to cram themselves.
Don't say the minibus given to them. They went and got their own trotro, one of their colleagues. No, it's not from the ministry. They themselves went and got their own trotro to pick them up. Yes.
That's even worse.
Yes.
This is unacceptable. It's dehumanizing. But shout outs to Adumche. He is like a pastor of a church called Philadelphia. Shout outs to him. We might not agree with his doctrines and all that, but he has demonstrated statesmanship for giving them 200,000 Ghana cedi, and out of that they could pay their hotel bills. Excellent. And where are all the so-called pastors? Where are the Duncan Williams? Where are the so-called elitist English-speaking pastors? Where are Otabel, Mensa Otabel? Shout out. I went to school with her daughter in Akwesasne International School. Where are all these Dake Ward Millses? What's his name again? The one in, I forgot his name, but where are all these pastors? You see, and this is what we keep talking about, that the work of God is supposed to be welfare, because Ghana is an extremely religious state. They are busy praying for Bawumia. They are busy praying for Bawumia and declaring who will be president. And you care for the needy, because that is what Jesus did. And so I want to especially say, I don't know him and all that, but I know he has a big church in Ghana. And thank you for supporting them. Mahama, and like I think Nee said it, because Mahama gave them $10,000, it's the political nature of it all. They are pissed that they went to see a former president who has honored them, who's given them audience and respected them when they did not treat these players with respect, recognition, and honor. It is a shame on Ghana that in 2024, we would have persons with disability who form our paraplegic team go and win the soccer for the African Cup of Nations, unique to them, and we discredit them, we disrespect them, we dishonor them, and we treat them as if they're not human beings. That is a shame. And I hope, and for why are they trying to top up their bonus? Because I saw that arrogant minister of youth and sports saying that they need to come and declare, and that's their president of the paraplegic team needs to come and render account, and based on what they have received, they are going to also top it up and then give them their bonuses. Whatever they have received is none of your business, because you didn't host them. So they were going back to people they believe, and they need all the support they can get. That's the issue. These people need all the support they can get. I'm sure some of them, they will need new crutches or whatever to get along. Even ideally, Mark, on a good day, these people should be given 1 month physiotherapy, massage, like we should be, giving them other incentives besides the financial compensation, because they've done well. But
they need better treatment than the fully functioning soccer players that we have. Those spoiled brats that we call national team players. No, I'm serious. I mean, this thing almost got me tearing up, that a group of people would take it upon themselves. And look, this is similar to when we were kids, that, you know, in your neighborhood, in my neighborhood, we had about, let's say, 4 different soccer teams in a small, relatively small neighborhood, right? It's a Bangle government, type situation. And usually it will take one guy in the neighborhood, maybe a little older than the rest of us, and then he will form a team. And then out of maybe the money that he gets from his parents, and then we'll all contribute little by little, and then we'll go to the market and buy some of these white shirts, secondhand clothes, and then we'll take them to the printer and they'll print the name of the team, and then we would go and play our soccer matches with these jerseys. Look, listening to this team sounded like that is exactly what they did to form this team. And then when they did all that and went out there and won this championship and came back, we treated them like garbage, like they are not even human beings. And then the minister has the nerve to actually parade them in front of the media and give them a dressing down like they are school kids. I mean, and then we go around. What is the value? What is the value in those national teams that we sponsor? Like, what do we get from it? Let's tell. So I just want somebody to tell me today. I used to be a huge soccer enthusiast, but over the period, I've lost interest. And it's some of these reasons contribute to my loss of interest in that. Because being somebody who is compassionate, or your thinking is all about humanity, you begin to wonder, why do we place so much value on certain things and then tend to devalue others? I mean, is the world supposed to be, are some people supposed to be better in this world than others? At the end of the day, what is it? You know, in fact, I mean, you heard the details. I mean, if you have, go for it.
For me, all I would say is, we thank Mahama again for bringing eyeballs on this, right? Because even the other guy, the other guy they went to see, gave them 200,000 cedis, right?
Pastor, yes.
Yeah, that's more than the $10,000 Mahama gave them.
Yes,
but
yes.
That was before.
But that didn't raise any
yes,
issue,
it didn't
right?
raise anything,
Yeah.
right? So what I see here is the politics. Is there's that we are in a political year, so if you go and see the opposition, it means you are trying to do that's what I see here. And I really appreciate Bahama for whatever the team seeing this problem and trying to bring eyeballs, because of that we get to know what's going on, and maybe it will change for the better.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, the guy is talking about accountability, and I started laughing. I'm like, you use how many millions of dollars to organize the Olympics in Ghana? Have he accounted for? A whole Bank of Ghana governor went to public account committee. They asked him why he paid 12 million or something dollars for a dam that is not existent, and he couldn't explain. So if they know accountability, they should use it for themselves and leave these guys alone.
I mean, to the extent that they went to Cantonment to import their own JC, right? Those knockoff, Black Star JCs that, are sold on the streets. That's what they went and bought by themselves and went and played this tournament. And then when they come back, this is the treatment they get. And then you value some other guys who are playing in Europe and they come around and misbehave and collect money and go away, and you think that they are better human beings.
Yeah.
In fact,
those guys already are privileged. These people are already underprivileged and do not have the systems to support them, and all the support should be going there. But like Mark, they say, listen, the system is for the rich. The rich are the only ones who get on it. Like they even say, in your family, if you're poor, nobody will listen to you in local parlance. These people who play for all these European teams and they get called, they're not coming because they have Ghana at heart. They're coming to play to make a name for themselves and to a large extent collect their bonuses, and that's about it. But these people who have disabilities that we are supposed to, because even the systems are not there, so we are all supposed to. For me, I'm more upset, and I'm more upset about the waywardness and the lack of insensitivity within the religious body, specifically the church in Ghana, because Christians in Ghana don't speak up for what they are supposed to speak up for. If they claim that they are Christ-like, but what was Christ doing? Christ was for the vulnerable. He was for the people who were downtrodden. He was for the people who were the least among in the society. I mean, I would expect that with Adumche giving them 200,000 Ghana before they went for the competition. Coming back, I'm expecting all other churches hosting them, giving them financial support. Some people coming together to give them physical therapy sessions, just to help them. They've gone, and we don't see nothing. But if it is Baumia that came to their church, they will use their fake calling to be. No, we got to get back on the religion as we head to the.
We would. I think if we have time, we'll touch on it. Yeah, but anyway, so yes,
let's have compassion and
exactly,
Christ
compassion. Yes.
Even if we have politicians like that, Christianity is supposed to augment. Like I always say, here in North America, the churches do the welfare. They organize the soup kitchens. They organize the clothing drives. Some of us dump our used clothing there. They wash it. Christmas time, you see the churches, different Salvation. You see them. They are collecting different forms of donations to support. That is what the church is supposed to be focused for a country where these mega churches are not paying any form of taxes, using fundraising strategies to fund their own businesses, their overseers, their own businesses, and to support their family and their lavish lifestyle. The least we can be doing is this. That Adumche, he's not a literate man. He doesn't speak English. His whole message is in Tree, and he's put a challenge to them. And I expect all these elitist pastors to come around. Ghana Christian Council, host them, because that is what Christ stood for. But we don't see that. They will be busy on the corridors of politics, and like you said, they are the kingmakers, prophesying who should be president.
Yeah, exactly, kingmaker. Yes, I mean, we have lost our humanity, and it cuts across politics and religion and everything. And if we don't discover that humanity and set certain values for ourselves as a country, we are not going anywhere. That so-called development that we think we aspire for and people are wishing for it would never happen if we're going to let things like this slide. And we need to start a petition for either the resignation or the dismissal of this minister of youth and sports. He's a total disgrace, and I feel ashamed as a Ghanaian the manner in which these guys were treated.
Well, from the data Akufo-Addo have shown us, I don't think he's sacking anybody. That guy is so loyal to his loyal people. So if you can do whatever he wants, you're his guy, and that's why we are where we are in Ghana right now.
Anyway, well, let's move to more of a political issue. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, currently Baumia hasn't named his vice president. In fact, it's not totally unusual on the part of the MPP that at this point they are still in a difficult spot with respect to naming their vice presidential candidate. It's happened in the past. In 2008, in fact, with the current president, he had difficulty actually selecting a running mate. And I think we talked about it on this show that in fact, I read what's the guy's name? Atta Kennedy's book. And Atta Kennedy was a core part of the Akufo-Addo 2008 campaign. He was actually the spokesperson of the campaign. And he writes in his book that, in fact, Nana had settled on Haji Alima Mahama. And then, as of 3rd July, they hadn't even named the candidate, the running mate yet. And on 3rd July, they leaked that information to the Daily Guide, right, just to test the water. So they put it out there. And by this time, the Atta Mills had already named Mahama as the running mate for the NDC. But 3rd July of 2008, they put the name out, Haji Alima Mahama, as running mate. It was an inside leak, and the backlash. Apparently there were chiefs from the northern part of the country that protested against the selection of Haji Halima on the basis that she was an unmarried woman and that it wasn't going to sell in the north. And there was some sort of internal division over the matter. And Nana was left with no choice but to drop Haji Halima. But that was his choice from the beginning. And I think the next was, I don't know if Malik Yakubu was also in the running, but they also wanted a candidate that wasn't associated with the Dagbon crisis that had happened in 2002. And so somehow he also got eliminated as a result of that dynamic. And then, in fact, Baumia apparently was last minute. It then became an issue of selecting somebody that, to some extent, wouldn't come with any form of baggage. So another person that was in the running was Adam Zakaria, who was a principal of Bewa Training College in the north. And then Baumia's name came up as well. So Nana had an interview with both of them, and I think eventually he settled on Baumia for obvious reason. Even with the selection of Baumia, of course, he wasn't a card-bearing member of the party. That was a big issue. But besides that, his father had the relationship between his father and the UP tradition, which is the current MPP, wasn't smooth. He had some sort of tricky. He was part of them at some point and wasn't, so they felt that his father wasn't entirely loyal to them. He had abandoned them at some point. And so his son becoming a running mate for a party that in quotes, his father betrayed wasn't a good look. But the argument was that the sins of the father shouldn't be visited on the son. And, at the end of the day, Nana had to pull the trigger and just say, you know what, enough is enough. Any person that I choose, there's complaint. There's always something. And so I'm going to go with Baumia. Damn the consequences. And then he named Baumia on August 14, 2008 as the running mate. So if you are going by their calendar, the time is not due yet. But is that also a harbinger for doom for the party, given that this all happened prior to 2008 and they ultimately lost that election? Is that a sign that being indecisive about who the running mate is could be foretelling us what the outcome of the election is going to be?
Yeah,
so yes, I'll go to you first and then
for me, anything, I really want this Baumia government, his presidency bidding to fail. So anything that will assist in that goal, I'm all for it. And whatever is going on, I'm happy about it. I want the confusion to lead to infighting, and that is what I wish for him.
Well, in order not to sound as if you and Baumia are rivals.
Oh, no. Like, I really, the lack of accountability on the part of somebody who was promoted and sold to us as the economic messiah. And today, he does no speeches on the economy. All he does is going from one church to the other. For me, Baumia has been a failure. And of course, I've failed in life before. We've all failed. What you need, if you fail, the first step is to accept that I have failed. But this guy is walking around and saying that he has no hand in whatever went wrong in this government. And for me, that pisses me off. It tells me he's a guy I can no longer trust. So I really want Baumia to fail, and whatever helps in that goal, I'm all for it. For me, we've heard news that he's trying to, because of Mohammed's selection of Prof. Jane, so he's trying to look at other, female candidates, which I don't care. All I want is he should go on with the confusion and the indecision. At this point, I know he will be a bad president, but you not being able to settle on a vice presidential candidate, can I trust you? I don't already trust him already. So I don't want to be like, because of this, I don't trust Bawumia because of his track record. I don't trust him. All I say is it looks like the indication, recently we saw a poll that some national whatever bureau did a survey.
We'll come to that.
We'll come to that, yeah. And it's pointing to Napo. All I say, I wish he selects Napo because I know Napo is an arrogant and is a power angry guy. And if Bawumia is going to lose this election, and if Bawumia loses, Napo will take over the party from Bawumia, because whatever the MPP is doing is just testing the waters, and they have the Bawumia faction or whatever. The MPP, they said it's two factions, the whatever Dombo, Buzia, whatever. So they are trying to say we are not an Akan party, and they are trying to give Bawumia the chance. Bawumia will fail, and they will revert back to what they know. So I hope he selects Napo, because I know Napo, after this election, Bawumia's influence on the party will wane, because he wouldn't have the influence of Akufo-Addo again. And then the party will be taken away from him, because I don't want to see Bawumia even running the next election. I don't care about whoever is running on the MPP side. I just don't want to see Bawumia, if he continues on this tangent of not taking accountability of the damage he's done to the economy.
Okay. So, Zita, is this a harbinger of doom? I'll give you another historical fact, right? In 1979, in fact, I think the very founding of this tradition, Victor Owusu was their candidate. And then apparently he had settled on ERT Majite. And just leading up to the selection of the candidate, he made a U-turn and went for the Tolona Alhaji Yakubu Tali. And subsequently, they lost the election. So, I've heard arguments that, the vice president, even prior to running for the flag bearership, would have known who he would want to partner him, and that he has decided on his candidate already. But the historical facts tell us that ultimately the decision is not always the candidates, and that emerging, issues as well as pressure from other groups ultimately twist the hands of the flag bearer to make a different decision from who they initially thought was going to be their running mate. And that has always spelled doom for them. Is that what is going on here?
I mean, you couldn't have said it better. Like, right now we are 5 months close to election. Which sane presidential candidate will wait this late to name a running mate?
Nana did in 2008.
Yes, Nana did in 2008, but it's a different time. Right now we have, amping of social media. We have, the campaign is not only happening in Ghana in terms of the grass, it's happening on social media. Personality profiles, people are going to be talking. The earlier you mention, the earlier people dig into the person's life and background and work and history, the better that blows over, and then you begin to measure the person's popularity and fondness around the person. The fact that Nana did it in 2008, where social media was not predominant, because it's happening on social media. Multiple factors are at play in this upcoming election, and so what happened in 2008 cannot be the strategy you use for 2020.
But they lost though, so
Yes, and they lost. But I'm just saying that even the stakes are higher now, because right now any ordinary Ghanaian can pick up a phone and say anything. And it's right now we don't need traditional media to share our thoughts, to share. Anybody can pick up a phone. And so the more you are waiting, Ghanaians don't leave issues. As somebody who have been on the chopping block on Ghana's social media, They don't leave issues that easily. They will clamp onto it. And so the earlier you mention and they dig in and they talk about the person, that will blow over, and then we begin to get into the issues of ideas and all. You don't want whatever smear your running mate has to take over your campaign. So I do not understand Baumia's thought process, but I agree with me. It will lead to his ultimate distraction. Again, trying to, because I looked into the possible running mates that were a month ago by Joy, and Joy put together 3. It was Napo, which is Matthew Owusu, Opoku Prempe,
yes,
a doctor, let me add the energy minister. And then the second person being considered was Minister of Education, Dr. Yao Osei Duchum.
Yes.
And then the third one, guess who? Mr. Rock City, Brady Champo.
Yes.
You see? So when I was like, oh, so you see, they need money to fund politics. This whole, it's a game, it's a state capture, and nobody can tell me anything else. How is he being, Brady Champo even being considered as a running mate? Now, these are the key 3. Because Mahama has mentioned a woman, you are trying to backpedal and find. Like I say, Mahama didn't just choose he didn't just choose a woman, but one that had the credibility. And that is hard to get. One that had the credibility, one that there will be no taint of corruption on her image, one that has been an astute stateswoman in terms of, holding different positions. And so Mahama, you all know, Professor Jane was elected 4 years ago as running mate, and it's blown over. The issues surrounding her have blown over. So her re-inauguration we've not really buzzed on anything about her degree in literature. It's blown over. That is what you want to do. Now we are listening to her. She's coming on stronger. She's giving us her own ideas and what she would do, in her capacity as vice president. That should be the strategy. But Bawumia has waited. Now, because you are thinking of gender parity doesn't work in all cases. You go and take a woman that is tainted with corruption and all that, we would descend heavily on the candidate.
But is it a hold on the gender parity thing? Because the poll that I'm going to talk about, apparently the NIB, now it used to be NI. I hear they changed the name to NIB, National Investigation Bureau. Whatever informed the name change, I don't know. But that is what has happened. Now they have the same name as the bank. I don't know how that is going to work. But they apparently they conducted a poll. And in that poll, they polled MPP members. And in that poll, they went strongly for a male candidate. So the gender calculation that he's making is not a favored position within his own party.
And we like Nia and I were telling the other time when you reference Aliwa Muhammad, like Ghana is an extremely patriarchal culture, extremely patriarchal, believe you me. And if you're a woman and you're chosen, then you have to be like Professor Jane. You like your reputation, your credibility, your track record needs to be so up there without any form of blemish. That is the only time, but you can choose a male candidate filled with corruption and issues around them, and it's still okay. But if you want to choose, so yeah, like you said, I'm glad the polls have said it. Like, this is not a time for a gender parity game. In as much as we want female representation, we want credible female representation. We don't want how do you call her, former Minister of Environment, Cecilia Dapa kind of representation. Oh yes, because she takes no. You are laughing, but Mark, such a woman.
No, I agree.
She takes us
away from the games. Yes.
Yes, because Ghana is extremely patriarchal and sexist country in terms of the culture and women getting access to position. A video of me talking about it was a discourse on TikTok on man versus bear, and women were saying globally that they felt safer around bears than men, and men were outraged. But of course, because I was trending, Ghanaians zoomed in and changed my name to Dr. Zoo, that I like animals and I'm choosing a man, a bear
a bear over a man.
Yes, and of course, but how I want to link that is the fact that I posted another video talking about the different aspect where men have failed in Ghana, and a blogger posted it on X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm gonna repost. I reposted it by deleting. I'm gonna repost it, and Nick can also repost. And if you look at the comments, everybody was mentioned. Upon all that, I'm forgetting to mention Cecilia Dapa. Once Cecilia Dapa, but
yes,
Mark,
so she has done the damage for all women.
That's my point. Mark, I will send you the video. I cited multiple cases of men being incompetent and not moving Ghana forward. And guess in the comment, most of the males were saying, "Oh, but you are saying women are not corrupted, men are the problem." Yes, Cecilia Dapa, she has taken us 100 years back. My point is, if you want to do the gender parity game, then he needs a running mate that has impeccable credibility. And I don't think the MPP has that. And so name your male candidate and go for it. But it has become a self-destructive position at this time, because I'm beginning to think Baumia is running alone. For the first time, we won't have a vice president because it's too late. We all don't want to hear, like right now, we are all zooming on key ideas. We are zooming on what you would do for Ghana. We are zooming on economic transformation, education sector transformation, agri sector transformation, mining sector transformation. These are the things we want to be looking up to ahead of the elections, not your running mate and the scandal surrounding your running mate. But since he decided to put himself in a hole, we are waiting, and when he names it, we are all going to zoom in, and the person's credibility or lack of credibility will now cloud and take over his campaign.
All right, absolutely. So let's go to the specifics of the individuals that have been named in this survey. So the NIV survey says, I think they polled about 11,156 MPP members, right? MPP supporters. And 76.2% of them said they preferred Dr. Maitu Opoku Prempeh, the current Minister for Energy. And then 10%, about 10.16%, went for Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, who is the current Minister for Education, but was NAPO's deputy in the Akufo-Addo first term. Apparently, the two of them don't get along. I think they had a falling up. They fell apart when they were working together. And I can understand why. And I can tell who the aggressor is. But that is not the subject of discussion here. But he came in second. And then the next, I guess they didn't rank the others, but there was the Apostle Opoku Oyina, who is the chairman, the former chairman of the Pentecost Church. There's Brian Achampon as well. He's also on the list. So now, my question here is, does who is selected the running mate really matter in the grand scheme of things? Have we really over-exaggerated the value of the value that a running mate could add to the ticket in terms of the electoral fortunes of the main candidate?
No, I feel that,
and maybe you can also speak to sort of weigh these individuals and then
Yeah, I feel the VP candidate is very important, and not only for the election purposes, but also for the actual job. And that's why I don't want to go on Baumia time. That's why Baumia it really, really gets me mad, because that job, this guy is the head of the economic management team for the whole country. Like, if the way he downplayed that role makes me really, 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 really angry at him, because I'm like, the government failed, but you cannot discount and let it seem that role you are playing is not important. And even like to the extent you are likening that role to a mate, the mate in our Ghanaian context of that trotro, the mate plays huge roles. When you are getting to a stop, the mate tell the driver stop. The mate keeps the money. So the level of trust the driver has puts in that mate, then the whole affairs goes to the mate.
And when the driver is tired, who takes over?
The mate.
Ni has decided to give this whole concept of a mate and driver a broader significance. That
no. Like he from, I don't know the kind of advice he got, but you started this campaign trying to let us know you didn't matter in the government. And that, for me, that rubbed me the wrong way, because I'm like, some of us gave the MPP the chance because of you. You were paraded as our next whiskey. That's what the wife literally said. The next week's whiskey. Yeah, whiskey. So
Wale Adam Smith.
Yeah, and I don't want to digress here, but I feel the VP candidate is very important, because as our leaders say, our elders say, Nyansa any baku for trim, two heads are better than one, right? So you need that person to help you in this governance. It's not easy, and you need somebody you can trust to do a specific job for you. And I see the reason why MPP gave Baumia the chance, even though by their own laws or bylaws, he wasn't qualified to be a VP, being hold whatever card for 3 years or whatever. They saw the relevance of giving somebody with that kind of background the VP spot. So the VP won for the election. And last time I mentioned it with Mohammed's selection of Prof. Jane. If you look at it, regionally, Mahama will cover the north, and Prof. Jane will cover the south. So when you look at the regional politics, it plays a role there. Second, you look at the gender, the demographics. Women are also having a lot of power these days in the Ghanaian politics. So if you look at it just for the election purposes, Prof. Jane also solved a problem that NDC needs to solve. That is, we are making sure we are having more inclusive government, and that is also important. And the reason why the MPP needs Napo or somebody from the Ashanti region is also to solve that regional imbalance. Baumia from the north, Napo or from the south, right? So they also need that. The other thing is, if you look at the job, they're doing the job. Prof. Jane has shown us she has the track record. She's been making decisions at high level, being a VC, being a minister. She's been making, and again, I want to say, Free SHS started under Prof. Jane. They started the pilot work for the Free SHS to work now. So she's made huge decisions before. Napo has been, a minister of energy and all that, education. So he also can do the job. I only think he's arrogant, but he has the experience to kind of help in managing the country. The vice president is an important role, and we shouldn't let Baumia downplay it and tell us he doesn't matter, because he does. Okay. He really does matter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess there's evidence to show that, right? I mean, with the unfortunate demise of the late Atta Mills, I mean, the vice president had to step in, and if he was not somebody who was competent, Ghanaians wouldn't have had the confidence that, I mean, somebody would have just stepped in within, less than 24 hours of his demise. The vice president was sworn in. It would have put us in a situation of constitutional crisis if we didn't really have somebody good enough or trusted enough to hand the presidency over to. And I guess there's that evidence for us, right? And look, as you said, in all sincerity, Baumia probably is the most sold vice presidential candidate ever in the history of our country. He was oversold, and people bought it. We bought it. And it was on the basis of his credentials. And I get your caution that given we shouldn't take the fact that he never lived up to that sort of that billing, that value that was put on him, we shouldn't lose faith in the position just because of that. And I guess, yes, the question goes to everyone, but it's a position of value, and in that sense, but also in terms of actually gaining votes for the potential candidate. We saw that with Baumia in 2016. In 2016, Baumia was the key or the most highly regarded cheerleader of that campaign. He was in the front and, doing all the talking and the promises and everything, because we play back his stuff just on the basis of the fact that he was the one making the promises and people bought into them and voted the NPP massively. And so the value of a vice presidential candidate is very important by that evidence. But Zita, now with these names that have been bandied around, with Matthew Opoko Prempeh being the lead, what do you think? Do you think, Nee says that he might be able to handle the job in terms of his expertise, but let's look at the political aspect. Does he come with a baggage such that you wouldn't advise any Baumia to select him?
At this stage, I really do not care who he selects. We've got Baumia is his party's in power. He should have selected a running mate way by the end of last year, so that this year, by this time, we're familiar with the person, and we've all taken the opportunity to review the person's, credentials and all that. But now, eventually, for me, it doesn't make a difference. He is a colossal failure. You are listening to Baumia. You are watching him on social media. Nobody's posting any intelligent thing Baumia is saying. He's dancing. He is in cars featuring with different celebrities singing music, and it is possible. That is his campaign. And it is possible. Those are his campaign messages. He is not engaging in the political, campaign of ideas. I'm not hearing anything. And people are just, using his dancing videos on social media. And that needs to tell him that he's really sinking. Because I don't see videos of Mahama dancing anywhere. Anytime there are posts of Mahama, he's talking to a situation. He's trying to address a national issue. But Baumia is out there dancing, even in the midst of high degradation and looking down on PhD. He could have used that. He could have used that as an opportunity to say, oh, it is unfortunate that we're in a country where knowledge is not valued. So moving forward, this is what we are going to do for, academics in Ghana. We are now going to institute a national budget for research so that 1 million can go to University of Ghana, 1 million can go to the University of Cape Coast, 1 million can go to the University of Science and Technology, and 500,000 to the other satellite universities across the country. You could capitalize on the trending issue, but you see a vice president who is going to be president dancing on social, dancing on political campaigns and saying Mofa Kanimame, taking selfies with how do you call it, artists, and virtually using slogans like it is possible. Those days are over. We want to hear ideas. So I do not care who he selects as a running mate. And like Nia said, I don't really know much about the Napo guy, but his demeanor is very condescending, very rude. When he was asked about the load shedding and doom so, he blatantly said, if people believe there is doom so, they should bring their schedule. But from his perspective, there's no doom so going on. What an utter disrespect to citizens of Ghana and electorate. And like Nia also noted, he seems to be power hungry. And so it might end up backfiring in their faces. So, and I don't know if this is relevant, but this ties back to the whole, the intense culture, patriarchal cultural sentiment in Ghana. Apparently, he got married last year. I don't know if he wasn't married. Quickly, when he was being considered for the vice president positions, he got married. And I'm like, if it is a woman, they will chop us into pieces. But he got married so to position him as a responsible family man. I am not sold. He might be the front runner, but Brian Champon, we don't even want to hear it now. The SNIT campaign and the SNIT backlash is enough to taint him as a candidate. So I think he will not even further off. And I don't know much about Dr. Yao or say education. I think he's a fine gentleman. I'm going to look into him, but we are all waiting because apparently this is the month that Baumia is supposed to name his vice president. And how many days for us to end? Today is 22nd. We only have about 8-9 days. We are waiting for him, and hopefully in our next live stream, we're going to talk about who the candidate is, and then we're going to delve deeper into the person's political history, if there are any scandals, if there are any issues, and what they can contribute to his campaign. Bawumia needed a strong candidate, and that candidate should have been mentioned at the beginning of the year, because he is a sinking boat. He has failed on all fronts, and anytime he's been held accountable, I was the mate. But Ni has told us how valuable a mate is in terms of our total system, that the mate collects money. The mate indicates where the driver should stop. The mate even have more power, clearly, than the driver, because the driver, you're only moving, but the mate to say, stop, somebody's coming to join. Collecting the money to make sure you have money to buy fuel. And if you are tired and you can't drive anymore, for those who go the long distance, the mate to take over. Bawumia has underestimated his position as a vice president, failed woefully, has nothing to campaign about, and has not even mentioned a running mate.
All right, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. I think the issue here is, people have mentioned the problem with Napo being his perceived arrogance, but I think they are bent on naming a candidate from the Ashanti region because of the disillusionment that has gone on with this government, and the likelihood that the base will not be energized, and so they need to select somebody from there who can turn up the base and get them out to vote. Because if there's voter apathy in Ashanti, then it's going to be just certain that NPP will lose the election. And so I think at this point they are settled on choosing somebody from Ashanti region. And so now the other challenge that people have mentioned with Educhum is the fact that they say he's not charismatic. He's not a grassroots guy that can, gin up the base and steer energy and bring people out to vote. And so, that is the issue there, that he's not a home-based guy. He was mostly in the US until his appointment as Deputy Minister for Education. And so he's not really, a local guy, so to speak. And so they are torn between a relatively perceived humble guy and an arrogant guy who could potentially turn up the base. Whether that is true or not, but I would just say, as you guys said, just name the candidate and damn the consequences. In fact, Kufuor had to do that in 2000 and the 2000 election. Out of the blue, he named Aliu Mahama, to the surprise of many party faithfuls, and they grumbled, but he had already done it. Aliu wasn't particularly a very popular person within the party. He supported the party, but he was mostly based in Tamale and Bolga, and he supported in his own small way, but he wasn't like a giant figure within the party. So when he was named, people were upset that he wasn't a known name within the rank and file of the party. But he did it anyways, and ultimately they won the election. And so perhaps you have to take that bold decision, because anybody you name will always come with a baggage. Maybe you just don't. But again, I mean, I think Brian Achampong is sort of, that's his Christian norm situation. Did you guys hear of the governor of I think South Dakota, right, who released a book, and in the book she said she shot a dog, a puppy that was, I don't know, it was trying to harm her daughter or something like that. Shot the puppy, and boom, that immediately made her unpopular. And you know how Americans feel about their dogs. It's almost like confessing to the murder of a baby. And I think this hotel scenario may just be Brian Achampong's Christian norm situation, where that has, I would say, pretty much disqualified him from, being considered for this position. They can defend, but I want to believe that within the confines of their homes, they are complaining about the optics of what is going on. Yeah.
And
yes,
it makes him more upset, right? The argument that MP was making, that he was trying to say that this guy was when the contract whatever started, that guy was not a minister and whatever, even though the other guy corrected him. It makes him more upset, because this is a guy to rise. He's been in the party for a while, so to rise to be considered as a vice presidential candidate, it means that he has some clout in the party. So if you are trying to use that to make an argument that he didn't do he didn't do anything, he was just free and fair, you're like, okay, stop lying, you're not kids.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I know our time is up. My concluding thoughts is when you talk about mentioning an unpopular running mate, and I think sometimes that is what you need. Kufuor did it with Aliyu Mahama, simple, calm gentleman.
Yeah.
Rawlings did it with former President Atta Mills. Calm demeanor, might not be popular, but solid gentleman. And I think Mahama did it with Emisa Atta. Sometimes, and that's why I said Napo should be taken because it will blow up. You see a trend of presidents picking a safe vice, somebody who is not power hungry, somebody who has integrity. And I don't know too much about Edichumo. I don't know too much about the Dr. Edichum. But I'm just saying, I see a trend here. When you were talking about it, I was just connecting the dots in my head. I'm like, oh, you see, Rollins has the charisma and all that, went for somebody calm, went for somebody who has integrity. Aliyu Mahama, God rest his soul, calm gentleman, doing his job, not doing too much to overshadow. Same with Nanado, I think was trying to do with Baumia. From nowhere, will not be, hungry, will not cause me problems. But Baumia has become a beast on his own, causing too much damage with all his inconsistency and lies. If there's any advice I'll give Baumia to land my ship, there is a pattern. Pay attention to the pattern. There is a pattern when it comes to, selecting a VP. If you look at history, with Rawlings, with Kufuor, with Atta Mills, there is a pattern with vice president. Choose wisely.
All right, guys. Well, I guess this would be the concluding remark for our show this afternoon. Again, thank you, Zita and Nee, for being my loyal panelists. And then to our viewers, we appreciate you. Thank you for joining us this afternoon and perhaps evening in Ghana. And we hope to see you again next week. There's always stuff in Ghana, right? We never run out of things to talk about. And so we hope to see you again next week, Saturday.
Yeah, and you guys.
We are paying our dues with the hope that someday honorariums will be available for us to be showing up, finding the motivation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm sure Chairman Mark is working on that.
Well, we'll see about that. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Yeah, you too.
All right.
You let it yum 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 yum. Nayela pere, mat nayela pese. You let it yum 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 yum. Nayela pere, muna kapela, chora kakisa, bayari yela pere, balunga.